Hey guys, welcome back to another video with the Hidden Creator Within. My name is ChrisApnuSamediNicks, and thank you so much for tapping in, spending some of your time today. And today's title of the video obviously is, if you're experiencing these 10 things, more than likely, you're probably experiencing a spiritual awakening. Number 1, you start to feel yourself detached from society. I think for me, this was, one of the biggest things for me that I started to notice is I started to detach myself from the world of what was going on around me, what was happening. I started to I wouldn't watch the news as much. I feel like, this was kind of programming me or influencing me to feel a certain way. And that was something I noticed, and I realized that it was some type of norm that we were supposed to act and carry ourselves. And not to say that in all fairness, sometimes you do need to carry yourself a certain way, but at the same time, I had to, or not saying necessarily I had to, but we were supposed to conform to these norms or what society says to be right or wrong. And it's like, well, who gets to decide that? And for me, I kind of saw myself detaching from that and really started to come to my own conclusions of what I felt to be, right and wrong for me, personally, individually, that is. So number 2, you begin to have more experiences within your own inner world. Your thoughts, your emotions, the ideas. It's something that you really start to come in tune with. You really start to notice how you're feeling, notice the thoughts that you're experiencing and what you're having, things like that. You really start to become aware of that. And for me, the exact same thing. I really started to notice that, hey, I don't really feel right in this situation. Instead of, maybe sometimes in the past we would just ignore it, and throw it off and put it off if it was nothing. Now we're like, you know what? If I don't, if the vibe in the room ain't feeling good, then, I'm gonna head out. So number 3, which is a really, really big one, and something I've noticed is, in a lot of people, and even in myself, is the ringing in the ears. Is this happening to you? Yep. You're more than likely experiencing or having a spiritual awakening. What's going on is, you're receiving a download, a channel, a message, and it's basically just code for your DNA to help you kind of elevate and help you ascend to other levels of awareness or consciousness, whatever you want to call it. And that's something that you'll notice. One of the ways to kind of tell if it's like that ringing is you may be in the middle of doing something, whether it's scrolling through some type of social media, or you just find yourself doing something. You kind of hear like a subtle ringing, and you start to kind of focus on it. And you may even ask people around you, like, hey, do y'all hear that? What I'm talking about? And that was one that was like really, really big for me that I noticed kind of in the very first beginning stages of going through on my own, my own awakening. Number 4, you may have more of a sense of connectedness. Being connected with other people, just really feeling connected to all things, plants, animals, and species. Like your plants, everything. You may be taking care of a plant. You may feel like yourself is within that, or even when it comes to people, and that kind of goes back to the whole thing of detaching from society. You realize that for some people in society, it's not the same. That some people are going through things that it makes you feel a certain way, that makes you feel deeper connected to people. Even in movies, you may find yourself, crying a little bit more, like you really, really, really relate to that that scene itself. That just sense of being more connected, not with yourself, but to source, to all, having that wholesome connected feeling. Next one is you will start noticing synchronicities. Yes, are you seeing like 1111, 222, 333? Drop some of the ones that you're seeing down below, and let me know what it is. But yeah, this would be another one too. You definitely will start seeing more synchronicities, more numbers. You may see it in like when you go buy something, or you may just happen to look at may just glance at the clock and it may be 1111 or 444. I know for me personally, some of the numbers that I see is 808, 811. And one of the things I'll say is, they call these angel numbers. And this is kind of a good way to kind of get into it just by, go Google it, go kind of see, what information that's out there that resonates with you when you're reading the information. But typically what I kind of teach my clients and teach in my class is, what was the thought that you were having right before you saw that number? Typically that's going to be some type of key message that you were receiving that will help you to aid you on your spiritual journey. So really kind of be more mindful. This is really what a lot of this journey is going to get you to become, is more mindful of self, that inner self, that that greater self, what it the feelings, the emotions, understanding, being able to detach and be able to identify where are these thoughts and emotions coming from. Number 6, you start to want to change your diet. Something within you, going back to the connectedness, just going back from detached to society, right and wrong. That may start changing. Some of the morals within you may start to shape or transform. And what I specifically mean by that is when it comes to food. You might have been somebody who's a heavy meat eater, and you've kind of found yourself wanting to try out another diet, or maybe eating less meat, maybe just cutting out red meats. You may find yourself doing something with a change within your diet because you understand that it doesn't make you feel well, that the vessel that your spirit is within, this physical body, it doesn't like all that food, all the high carbs or the red meat, whatever it is. For me, I'm somebody who I have primarily a plant-based diet. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna lie to you all and act like I don't eat meat. Every now and then I will, but for most of the times it's mainly plant-based. It's every occasion I may have some chicken or some seafood. I really prefer seafood, if I'm being honest. And then number 7, things that used to entertain you, they won't entertain you anymore. Maybe it'll be something that you used to go do with some friends, maybe going out on the weekends, going party all the time. I don't know what it is for you, but there may be something that you feel yourself again becoming more detached from, not wanting to be doing all the time because it just doesn't serve you where you're at, especially as you're ascending and you're elevating, and you're just becoming more aware of different things. You're going to start kind of finding yourself more drawn back from certain social interactions and events, and that's all normal because, like I said, you're having a spiritual awakening. This is a beautiful thing. 8, maybe going through a hard or heavy emotional time, where your focus on the external is it's so much emotion, so much heavy emotions, that is, things that are really making you feel drained, that you don't even want to focus on it anymore because you're so kind of more focused on what you're feeling within you. You may find yourself going through these things, and this is something that I know for me and for a lot of other people is when you find yourself going through these emotional turmoils and these emotional things where you're like, I gotta just cut away from it, I gotta let go of that. Yes. Focus on that feeling. Focus on what's kind of telling you to do this. I promise you it's gonna lead you and help. But number 9, your sense of identity is vanishing. And what I mean by that is more of that, like that ego self, that external self, that outer world of how, you really start kind of stop caring what people think, what they have to say. You really start becoming more independent and focus on your own thoughts and your own feelings, things of that nature, whether it be of others. You really kind of start to disconnect from that. By that is more of that, like that ego self, that external self, that outer world of how, you really start kind of stop caring what people think, what they have to say. You really start becoming more independent and focus on your own thoughts and your own feelings, things of that nature, whether it be of others. You really kind of start to disconnect from that, and it doesn't bother you like it might have, it might have in the past. Number 10, you feel some sort of calling. Maybe it's to go do something. You may feel to go do some type of charitable work. Maybe to go help somebody else, just maybe be a blessing into somebody else's life. You really start to feel connected with other people and all things, and you really just want to kind of be that light to somebody. That's something else to just kind of give you more confirmation that yes, you are having a spiritual awakening. So again, if you were able to find some value out of today's video, definitely share it. Maybe somebody else can find something that you found too. But together, as one through love, we are all ascending. We are also going throughout this journey and having our own revelations, for us, things that really resonate with us. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. We definitely will have more content unrolling and coming out.